my name's Angela and I'm a visually impaired designer. Different types of logos. Hey everyone, how are you doing? In today's video, I want to talk to you about logos. I want to talk to you about the different types of logos that exist and how we can keep in mind accessibility when we're designing logos. In my next video, I'll be talking about 6 attributes that you can use to help make sure that your logos are accessible. So keep an eye out for that video if you're interested in that topic. I think that a logo that is designed well is a very powerful tool to have for a brand because it's one of the main things that people remember you by. It's how people know what you're all about. If a logo is designed poorly, it can be confusing and potentially make it so people aren't interested in your brand. Also, if you're new to my channel, my name's Angela and I do videos about disability and design and how we can be more inclusive of those with disabilities throughout the design process. And I also have a visual impairment called Aniridia, and I've shared my story and how it affects my life in a couple of videos previously. So I'll make sure to link those below so that you can see those videos as well if you would like. And if you would like to support me, please subscribe to my channel and click on the notification bell so that you can receive notifications anytime that I post new videos. I really appreciate all of the support that I receive. Now let's get on to the video. WORDMARK logos. Now the first type of logo we'll go over is a WORDMARK logo. Now this is exactly what it sounds like. A logo that is just the name of the brand without any text or any words. Now you might think that this is a super simple type of logo to create, but designers actually take a lot of time to create a good WORDMARK logo. It is common for a designer to start with a font that already exists and tweak it and add little flourishes to make it custom for that brand. And a lot of brands will even hire a designer to create a typeface specifically for their logo and their brand. And this is a good way to stand out. Now a WORDMARK logo can be a good accessibility choice because it strips down and makes the logo simple and clear. It doesn't have anything extra and just states what the name of the brand is. Now a few examples of a WORDMARK logo would be the Home Depot logo, Google, and Hulu. Now I know Google has some interesting things that they do with their logo beyond the WORDMARK, but we'll cover that later on. LETTERMARK logos. The second type of logo is a LETTERMARK logo. This is when a brand decides to shorten their name by using the acronym, which is the first letter of each word in their brand name. This can be especially helpful for a brand that has a really long name. Using a LETTERMARK logo can really simplify a complex name and make it a lot easier for your customers to remember and for it to be a lot more memorable. Now it's important to note with a LETTERMARK logo that unless you're already an established brand, it might be helpful for you to start with a WORDMARK logo where you spell out your name first, and then you can shift into doing a LETTERMARK logo later on when your brand is more well known. Because LETTERMARK logos don't have words, it can't help you understand with context what the brand is for. So finding other ways to visually show what your brand is about can be a helpful way to use a LETTERMARK logo if you're going to. Now some examples of LETTERMARK logos include H&M, which stands for Hennes and Martiz, IBM, which stands for International Business Machines, and the third example is NASA, or National Aeronautics and Space Administration. By shortening these brand names with the acronym, not only does it simplify them visually, but it also makes it more accessible for everyone. It makes it a lot easier for people to refer to them. Can you imagine this conversation? Hey, did you hear about the news that the National Aeronautics and Space Administration gave out the other day? Versus, hey, did you hear about the news that NASA gave out the other day? I think we can all agree that in some cases it definitely makes sense to use LETTERMARK logos versus a WORDMARK. And with the example of H&M, which is Hennes and Martiz, is 2 different names in 2 different languages. And so by shortening it to H&M, it makes it accessible to more of an international audience. Pictorial mark logos. The next type of logo is a pictorial mark logo. This is when a brand is represented by an image or a graphic only, with no text. This is usually something that is evolved over time, So the customers are familiar with the brand, and later on they modify their brand to be simpler. Typically, brands that use the pictorial mark logo are large major brands that already have been established for quite some time. A pictorial mark logo can be really successful if done right. It doesn't require the user to read anything or to decipher anything super visually complex. So when you see this symbol of an apple with a bite taken, it is universally known you are not going to find apples or some type of grocery store, but instead a technology company. Or this white Target on a bright red background is instantly recognized as Target department stores, and perhaps not a shooting range. Or a third example is this blue and red domino. When people see this symbol, they notice for pizza and not for a game store or some type of game center. This can be a really powerful accessibility tool because of the instant recognizability and the simplicity of having just an image and no text. Combination logos. The next type of logo is a combination logo. This is when a brand decides to use image and a text to portray their brand. This could include a LETTERMARK logo or a WORDMARK logo combined with an image. And the graphics can be shown in many different forms. It can be a literal photo, it could be an illustration, or it could be something more abstract. There are also a lot of brands that use mascots to help them have a consistent brand recognition. A combination logo is a very common type of logo, especially for smaller companies that want to get their customers familiar with their brand. Now, typically, a combination logo has the image and the text separately and can be moved around. A combination logo is a great opportunity for a brand to help their customers better understand what they stand for and what they can expect from them. It is important that in a combination logo, that the image and the graphic both contribute to the brand, and that it's not repetitive and they both add value to the logo. Some examples of a combination logo would be Walt Disney, Amazon.com, and Wendy's restaurants. Emblem logos. The last type of logo is an emblem logo, which is similar to a combination logo where it has text and a graphic. It's usually also contained inside of a shape, and it tends to be a lot more visually complex. However, if it's done correctly, an emblem logo can be really effective and can look quite professional. It is also possible to create an emblem logo with the intent to use separate assets from it to make it a simpler logo depending on how you're using it. Some examples of an emblem logo include the Starbucks logo, a university logo such as the University of Washington, and Harley-Davidson. So as I mentioned throughout the video, a logo can be designed to be purposely versatile and work as different types of logos. And this can be a very helpful tool as long as there are consistent factors such as color, typography, layout, different styles, or effects that are used across the brand. Now that we've talked about all the different types of logos, I hope this video helped you better understand the different type of logos that exist. And if you're a designer, it will help you better understand what routes to explore when designing a logo. And if you're a brand looking for a logo, that this will help you maybe pick which type of logo would be best for your brand. Question of the week. I want to start doing a new thing. In every video, I ask you a question and we can have a conversation about it in the comments below. Do you have any favorite logos and what are your reasons for liking them? Do you have any least favorite logos or any logos that you really don't like that you've noticed? And what are your reasons for that as well? I will be sharing some of my favorite logos in my next video and why I think that they're working so well. I can't think of a specific logo that I hate the most, but there are definitely a lot of logos that I think are designed poorly and could be improved significantly. My least favorite thing is when they're not readable and they're very complex and I can't even tell what they are for. So don't forget to share your response to the question of the week in the comments below. And if you like this video, please subscribe below so that you can see more content from me in the future. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so that it will notify you every time that I post a video. I hope that you have a great day. Bye!